Here's something I've been glued to that I think more people need to be made aware of because it's very serious. Right now, there is a slap boxing match that's been going back and forth between Pete Hegseth and Anthropic. And really, it's the entire Pentagon versus Anthropic. They're behind Claude, which I'm sure many of you are familiar with. The military wants unrestricted access to Anthropic's AI. And they have a contract in place, and right now, Anthropic is planting its feet in lat spreading, refusing to be bullied into giving them unrestricted access.
The CEO of one of the biggest AI companies in the world is meeting with Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth today as the Pentagon threatens to essentially blacklist that company, Anthropic, from lucrative government contracts if the AI company doesn't lift its restrictions on how the military can use its technology. The Pentagon has a $200 million contract with Anthropic. And a source tells CNN that the company has concerns over two issues: AI-controlled weapons and mass domestic surveillance of American citizens.
Sounds pretty reasonable to me. Yeah, that one passes the smell test. Those are very legitimate concerns, and Anthropic wants these restrictions in place to ensure that its AI can't be used for mass surveillance of American citizens or autonomous AI weapons. And because of their reluctance to concede on that, Pete Hegseth has been stomping his feet, bench pressing 315, and has given them a deadline till Friday to play ball with them or risk being blacklisted. And the reality of the situation is, even if Anthropic doesn't budge and they wipe their ass with the contracts, numerous other AI companies will step up and just gladly take the bukkake from the Pentagon with completely unlimited access, no restrictions to their AI. But right now, Anthropic is the most powerful and the one that they really want, which is why they're trying so hard to get them to release these restrictions and let them use it for whatever they want. Which, again, the main things from Anthropic that they are very concerned about is the mass surveillance of American citizens and AI autonomous weaponry. Again, I think those are very reasonable restrictions to keep in place to ensure that the AI can't be used for those two things, because it fucking shouldn't be. If anyone here has ever watched Terminator or any sci-fi movie where AI assumes direct control of the military and everything goes tits up, you've seen this exact storyline play out in those montages that give you the lore breakdown for how we got there. Like, it's crazy to see it unfolding now in real time in the real world. Obviously exaggerating a bit, not quite to that level yet, but it is extremely serious. And I think any reasonable person would agree with these kind of restrictions, because AI shouldn't be used for mass surveillance on American citizens. And under no circumstances should physical attacks be determined by AI with no human input whatsoever. It shouldn't be making targeting decisions without human input. Like, fully autonomous AI weaponry is a terrible fucking idea. And actually, the CEO of Anthropic did an interview going over these two things because he's not backing down on them.
That's one reason why I'm worried about the autonomous drone swarm, right? So, the constitutional protections in our military structures depend on the idea that there are humans who would, we hope, disobey illegal orders. With fully autonomous weapons, we don't necessarily have those protections.
Now, for what it's worth, I'm no fan of Anthropic. There is no AI mega corporation you'll catch me waving the #1 foam finger around for and advocating for and glazing or anything like that. I think all of these companies are greedy as fuck, controlled by shady vampire ghoul creatures. And I know Anthropic has built up somewhat of a reputation for being the good guys in AI. But I am not one of the people that actually believe that at all. But he's 100% right. Fully autonomous weaponry cannot disobey an order, even an illegal one. It will always follow through, no matter what, unquestionably. And that's not a good thing. That's not a positive thing. I'm sure a lot of you have probably seen a lot of those like YouTube videos, or like a long time ago, the Reddit story that would circulate like once a year for the big updoots talking about the man who potentially saved the world, Stanislav Petrov, who was an officer during the Cold War era, and while on duty, he received a ping from the early warning system alerting him to incoming United States missiles. He believed that it could have been a false alarm, so he decided to go against protocol, and instead of reporting the incoming missiles, he waited. And it turns out his hunch was correct. It was a malfunction in the early warning system, but the standard protocol dictates that he was to report these incoming missiles, which could have led to a retaliation from the Soviets, which would have led to a retaliation from the US and could have been a nuclear disaster. There's been a lot of debate about whether or not that would have even happened had he reported the missiles, because there would have been other checks that would have went into place potentially, but with such high tension and such little time with incoming missiles, there's a lot of speculation that, yes, had he reported it, they could have immediately just decided to retaliatory strike the US. Regardless, what is irrefutable is that he made the right decision by disobeying protocol, disobeying like the order of operations here. By not reporting those missiles, he made sure that there wasn't a nuclear disaster. It was the right call. The point I'm making is the ability to disobey an order or not follow through on protocol is something that's important. And there's tons of examples of it. I just chose this because I think it's the one some of you have probably heard of. So there's no benefit to having fully autonomous AI weaponry that can't disobey anything and has to follow through on everything without question.
Update these protections appropriately. So, think about the Fourth Amendment. It is not illegal to, put cameras around everywhere in public space and, record every conversation. It's a public space. You don't have a right to privacy in a public space. But today, the government couldn't record that all and make sense of it. Right. With AI, the ability to transcribe speech, to look through it, correlate it all, you could say, oh, there's this, this person is a member of the opposition. This person is expressing this view, and make a map of all 100 million. And so, are you going to make a mockery of the Fourth Amendment by the technology finding kind of technical ways around it?
He then goes on to say that maybe we need to update a lot of these protections to encompass things like AI finding workarounds for it. And the point he is making is that this kind of implementation of AI could very much make a mockery of the Fourth Amendment, flushing it down the shitter. His point is, even though it's not illegal to have cameras in public all over the place, out the wazoo till the cows come home, without AI, they can't piece together everything, comb through everything, make a map of people that's, opposition, stuff like that. But with AI, they can. Mass surveillance is made much more possible. It would circumvent protections of things like the Fourth Amendment. He's right. So he is not backing down on these things, which is what's causing so much friction with Pete Hegseth and the Pentagon, which I really feel like any sensible person should see and be extremely concerned, because I think these are reasonable restrictions. Now, unfortunately, like I said, even if Anthropic does stick to their guns here and it does cost them this contract, it doesn't just die there. It doesn't fizzle out. OpenAI and xAI have made it pretty clear they're willing to just, with a wide open mouth, just take the golden shower, let them use it for things like mass surveillance or autonomous AI weaponry. They're totally fine with completely unrestricted access, which had my jaw on the floor because xAI is Elon Musk's company. You're telling me Elon Musk would be okay with mass surveillance? No, not that guy. No, I'd eat my left shoe. I don't believe that for even a second. Maybe he just doesn't know. Yeah, that's probably what it is. Anyway, though, I do think this is something everyone should care about. I feel like the restrictions are reasonable, and the military should have no qualms about not being able to be used for mass surveillance on American citizens or completely autonomous AI weaponry. Maybe that's a hot take, maybe I'm on the crack pipe, but I think those restrictions are totally fair, and it's kind of alarming that they're making such a huge stink about it and going to, outright saying they're going to blacklist Anthropic should they not lift those limitations. Don't think that's a good thing. It makes it seem like they want to use it to spy on every American citizen, and they want to use it for autonomous AI weaponry. Those aren't good things. That's how it's looking here. So yeah, just wanted to yap about this a bit. That's it. See ya.